Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Prachur Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasara Gunata Patita Pavan Kaha Mora Bhatta Juga Kaha Kavira Eka Kali Kota Gela Goranataraj Pashane Kuti Bo Matha Anale Pashibo Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo Jai Sabha Sangira Sange Jai Koilo Bilas Se Sangana Paya Kande Narottamada Anjayanilo Premadana Akaruna Prachur Aheno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. So this is the disappearance day of Srila Madhvacharya, and we will hear a little bit about him at the end of the class. Narayanam namaskritya Narang chaiva namottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashtaprayasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord, who is glorified in transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 13th day of February 2019 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are in Canto 4, the fourth order, the creation of the fourth order. Chapter 9, Dhruva Maharaj returns home, text number 32. Matir Vidushita Devai Patadbir Asahishnubihi Yo Naradavachastatyam Nagrahishama Sattamaha Matir Vidushita Devai Patadbir Asahishnubihi Yo Naradavachastatyam Nagrahishama Sattamaha Mati Vidushita Devai Patadbir Asahishnubihi Yo Naradavachastatyam Nagrahishama Sattamaha. Mati Vidushita Devai Patadbir Asahishnubihi Yo Naradavachastatyam Nagrahishama Sattamaha. Mati Vidushita Devai Patadbir Asahishnubihi Yo Naradavachastatyam Nagrahishama Sattamaha. Mati Vidushita Devai Patadbir Asahishnubihi Yo Naradavachastatyam Nagrahishama Sattamaha. Mati Vidushita Devai Patadbir Asahishnubihi Yo Naradavachastatyam Nagrahishama Sattamaha. Mati Vidushita Devai Patadbir Asahishnubihi Yo Naradavachastatyam Nagrahishama Sattamaha. Word by words. Matihi, intelligence. Vidushita, contaminated. Devai, by the demigods. Patadbihi, who will fall down. Asahishnubihi, intolerant. Yaha, I, who? Narada, of the great sage Narada. Vachaha, of the instructions. Tatyam, the truth. Na, not. Agrahisham, could accept. Asattamaha, the most wretched. Translation. Since all the demigods who are situated in the higher planetary system will have to come down again, they are all envious of my being elevated to Vaikuntha Loka by devotional service. These intolerant demigods have dissipated my intelligence, and only for this reason could I not accept the genuine benediction of the instructions of sage Narada. Purport. As shown by many instances in the Vedic literature, when a person undergoes severe austerities, the demigods become very much perturbed because they are always afraid of losing their posts as the predominating deities of the heavenly planets. It is known to them that their position in the higher planetary system is impermanent, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter. Chine punye marchalokam vishanti. It is said in the Gita that after exhausting the results of their pious activities, all the demigods who are inhabitants of the higher planetary system have to come back down to earth. It is a fact that the demigods control the different activities of the limbs of our bodies. Factually, we are not free even in moving our eyelids. Everything is controlled by them. Dhruva Maharaj's conclusion is that these demigods, being envious of his superior position in devotional service, conspired against him to pollute his intelligence, and thus, although he was the disciple of a great Vaishnava, Narada Muni, he could not accept Narada's valid instructions. Now Dhruva Maharaj regretted very much that he had neglected these instructions. Narada Muni had asked him, "Why should you bother about insult or adoration from your stepmother?" He, of course, said to Dhruva Maharaj that since Dhruva was only a child, what did he have to do with such insult or adoration? But Dhruva Maharaj was determined to achieve the benediction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore Narada advised him to go back home for the time being, and in mature time he could try to practice devotional service. Dhruva Maharaj regretted that he had rejected the advice of Narada and was adamant in asking him for something perishable, namely revenge against his stepmother for her insult and possession of the kingdom of his father. Dhruva Maharaj regretted very much that he could not take seriously the instruction of his spiritual master and that his consciousness was therefore contaminated. Still, the Lord is so merciful that due to Dhruva's execution of devotional service, he offered Dhruva the ultimate Vaishnava goal. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Milatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So this section could be called Dhruva's Lament. You can see how his entire demeanor has been transformed by the process of devotional service. He began this whole adventure by being struck, just like a snake is hit by a foot or something, or by a stick. And he was very disappointed, and his ire had gotten up. This is the quality of the Kshatriyas. Any insult, and take umbrage, does it take umbrage? And but he's just a small child, so naturally he'll take shelter of his mother. He took shelter of his mother, and his mother, who was very wise, Suniti means very virtuous, Suruchi, very physically beautiful. So Suniti, his virtuous mother, of course commiserated with the son, but she said, "What can I do? I'm not the favorite anymore," you know. So she gave him the advice to follow Suruchi's first advice, which was you have to take shelter of God. You have to get God's mercy, and then take birth from my womb, and then you can sit. So she was mixed up also, but at least that part about searching out God was right. And she said, "Yes, you can. Only God can help you. I can't help you." So then we know last time he goes out and he's determined. He's Dhruva, fixed in his determination to avenge the slight that had been shown to him by not only his stepmother but also his father. And he meets Narada Muni, and Narada Muni tries to dissuade him at first and tells him to go back home, and when you're mature then I'll teach you and everything. But he refuses that, and that's what he's lamenting here. And he's also saying that even in this state, he's blaming it on the demigods. The demigods have covered my intelligence. Well, he was open to that. As soon as you're under the modes of nature, then you're subject to influence by people in those modes of nature. And the demigods are more or less in the mode of passion to a large degree, some of them. And so he felt that his intelligence had been covered in that way. In any case, he has this mood of regret. And that mood of regret is something you'll find in many devotees, even the pure devotees. They'll lament their condition. Think of Lord Chaitanya's associates, Rupa and Sanatan and Haridas, the highest levels of devotional service. But they're feeling that, oh, we are either born in a low family like Haridas, or we consorted with the low people, contaminated people, and therefore we contaminate. There's this famous test that Lord Chaitanya put Sanatan through, when he visited Puri, and it was in the summertime, and Lord Chaitanya invited him for lunch, and which he was ecstatic. Oh, my Lord is calling me to come and take prasadam with him, but he didn't want to go by the temple, because he felt he had become, permanently contaminated by his association with the Muslims. And so he took a route to go to Lord Chaitanya's place on the beach. Now, I've never experienced sand that hot, because I didn't grow up in the tropics. But I can imagine in the summertime, if the sun is beating down, that sand can get super hot. And it was known to try to avoid that, because you blister your feet if you come to midday. But he was so blissful and so much transcendental that he didn't even notice. Lord Chaitanya immediately, how did you come? He arranged this test to see if Sanatana Goswami what his transcendental situation was. And he said, oh, I came by the beach. How could you come by the beach? It was blistering, heat, 100, 200, 120 degrees, 130 degree sand, whatever it was. So I didn't notice, and he looked at his feet were blistered. So this was showing that his humility, his sense of being low-born and being neglected, dainya, was, which is a very central aspect, quality in the very advanced devotees, is that he was totally absorbed in thoughts of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. He didn't even notice his physical pain. And of course, Haridas was showing that. He was so humble, and he expressed it so much that Lord just said, please stop with the humility. It's causing me great pain. He wouldn't eat with the devotees. He always at the side. He would offer from a distance. And he felt that he was so low. He wouldn't go near the temple, because he thought maybe he would touch some of the priests leaving and he would contaminate them and all this. But he's the highest. He's Haridas Thakur. He's Madhvacharya, part of the Premadvani. And Lord Chaitanya, he would go visit them. When Rupa and Sanatan came, especially Rupa would stay with Haridas. And Lord Chaitanya, realizing they wouldn't go to see the deity, he went to see them. So the actual manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead went to see them daily, and enjoyed their company, Krishna Katha, arranged for them to get prasadam and everything. So this sense is very evocative of the Lord's mercy. The idea, even this famous verse of Madhavendra Puri expresses that. Radharani is feeling the same way. It says, Ai dina dayardanata he matodar kadava loki se vidiham sodaloka katanam dhayata brahmantikinga romya. She's saying, oh, my dear Lord, Mathura. She's defining it. I'm here in Vrindavan, you're in Mathura, so there's a separation. Krishna's left. Dina dayadra, your heart is melting. This ardra, it means like flowing or melting. Your heart is melting with mercy for the dinas, such as me. Wretched, neglected, useless souls. This is Radharani speaking. Dina dayadra nata. Hey, Master of Mathura, because haven't seen you, my heart has grown, my heart has grown very unsteady and fickle. What should I do now? I'm suffering. That's the whole prayer. So you can see that if you're always in that mood, you have the proper mood of humble service. Somehow let me do something to get in the good graces of the Lord. I'm the worst devotee. What are my qualifications? I commit offenses at every moment. So therefore, I have to be very careful to be very good in devotional service. Call out for the Lord to show mercy. That's because he's called Dina Bandhu, the friend of the fallen. There's a story, Prabhupada, because I listened to these tapes again and again, going round and around, and Prabhupada tells this story about a boy in a Gurukul, and he's from a poor family, and the other students were from a little better Vaishya families or stuff like that, So it came time to have a big ceremony. I forget what it was, and all of the boys were meant to bring some donation. Usually in kind, means that it would be some grain or whatever, maybe, for cooking the feast, some donation. This is how the teachers maintained themselves. They didn't get a salary. They would have, dakshin. So this boy was from a very poor, he lived alone with his mother, very poor, and so he went to his mother, what can I give for the ceremony? He said, we don't have anything, But I've heard that the Lord is known as Dina Bandhu. He's the friend of the poorest. So if you go out to, maybe you can find him in the forest, and he'll help you. Dina Bandhu. So the boy was very simple. He went out in the forest, and he started calling on Dina Bandhu, Dina Bandhu, Dina Bandhu, I help you, help me. So Krishna came, and he told him his problem. He needed to get something, as a gift for the guru, the Gurukul. And says, okay, when the time comes, I'll give you some yogurt, and you can offer that. So the boy went back and told the teacher very nicely, I'll provide the yogurt. He said, oh, very nice, But of course, he's a simple boy, there's like going to be hundreds of students and their guests, how's he going to provide yogurt? So he went, when the time came, he went to the forest again, and Dina Bandhu Krishna, he gave him this one pot, small, modest pot of yogurt, dahi. And you take this, this is your gift. So he very happily went, it's simple, took it, gave the pot. And the teacher was furious. Oh, you just bring one pot of yogurt for this whole, congregation here? So he throws the pot down, and it breaks, Or rather, he throws the pot down, and all the yogurt spills out. So then he goes about his business, when he comes back, he looks at the pot. And the pot is there again, but it's filled with yogurt again. It says, oh, realize, the pot can't be emptied. It's a magic pot. You can take as much yogurt out of that little pot as you want, but there's always more left. So that's because it was a gift from Krishna. So that if you feel yourselves, Dainya, just like this, we did this little seminar in Chicago this year on prayer. And so I checked the Nectar of Devotion, and there's a section there called Submission. I don't know if I told you about this already. Submission. And the next section, I forget what number it is, in the 64, is called Offering Notable Prayers. So I said, well, maybe it's the Offering Notable Prayers, but I looked carefully through that, and that was really just offering notable verses, not necessarily prayer. This was specifically on prayer of, asking for something. And so, but it's the previous section called Submission that was the pertinent one. And you know why? Because submission, the Sanskrit word is vigyapti. And vigyapti doesn't mean bowing down and submitting to the Lord. It means submitting a petition, submitting a request, right? Right, Mahapani? Submission. So there's different kinds. And one is this Atma Sampratika, I think it is. And this is a general prayer that devotees will offer. Not a material prayer, but a prayer for becoming purified, a prayer for becoming steady in devotional service, a prayer to be able to associate with devotees. This is prayer. We had one in prayers. Dhruva had a prayer. Bhakti Mahopa Bhatam Traimeva Sangha. And then there's Dainya Bodhika. Dainya Bodhika is, this word dainya is related to dina, is expression of one's, exactly like Dhruva is doing here, where expressing of one's disqualification and so forth. And you find like whole songs like that. Prabhupada's favorite song, Hari Hari Vipale Janma Gonainu, right? Oh, Hari Hari, I've misused my life fruitlessly, Vipale, without fruit. My whole birth has been wasted. And then he starts going through a list, you know, basically outlining a material life, and now I've come to my old age. You know. So that's Dainya Bodhika. And it's interesting because even without a prayer there, this is an authorized part of this submission, sort of defining one's own assessment of oneself. You find it even in Lord Chaitanya. In the Madhya Lila, chapter 2, which is a mini Ancha Lila, meaning it describes his Antya Lila. Krishnadas Kaviraj was having some kind of a health crisis, and he's writing right there, I may not make it, I may not be able to do it, so at least we'll have this little summary of the Antya Lila. So he's describing how Lord Chaitanya said, I have not even a drop of love for Krishna. If I did, I couldn't live for a moment. You know? And what use these senses? They're like dry wood and blocks of stone, you know, if they don't serve Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is showing this Dainya Bodhika. And then there's Lala Shamayi, the third kind of vigyapti. Lala Shamayi is like a specific request for intimate service. And the perfect example is the Tulsi prayer. Prabhupada gave us this Lala Shamayi. Even though it says right in the Bhakti Sindhu that these are basically prayers for those who have already risen to the level of Baba. But Prabhupada gave us this Tulsi prayer. So, but they kind of go in order, and that Dainya Bodhika is a sense that we can also have. That we're so unqualified, what background do we have? But I'm so fortunate to have an opportunity to you know, offer, just chant one name. You know, what to speak of you know, be a full-time devotee, and it's such a mercy. I'm totally unqualified, therefore I have to try harder. That's the whole point. I have to be really strict somehow, and you know. So that's, we're seeing some of that now with Dhruva. He's so qualified, Krishna himself appeared, he gave him this Vaikuntha planet, you know, and he's completely free now. You can see he's completely free of any jealousy or any envy or any like that, and he's just regretting that he entered into that at all. Although it's kind of natural before he was a devotee to be in that mood. And then he's saying about the demigods, that it's a fact. There in the 11th canto, there's a nice passage there where, has within it, there's little lessons, you know, from the 9 Yogendras. They have like 10 or 12 verses, and this is the one. How does it go? Yeah, that has within it Tasmat Gurum Papadyeja Jigyashu Shreya Uttamam Shabde Padechanistam Brahman Yupashamashayam. And I always wondered about that Tasmat, because it means therefore. What came before? Because Tasmat means it's part of an argument. You know, this, and this, therefore this. So the first few verses of that chapter describe how you can't be happy in the material world. He starts with ordinary people on this earth. They get together in pairs, you know, and trying to maximize their happiness and minimize their distress. But one should understand that in the ultimate end, they get just the opposite. That the distress is maximized and there's no happiness. And you know, it's kind of pessimistic. We are very pessimistic about material happiness. But just think about it. The most ideal marriage and everything, you know. But eventually you get old, the kids go away, you know, and the relationship breaks. This relationship which was your everything. My soulmate, so-called, you know what I mean? Your children, especially today, it's such a nightmare. You can't train them up. They're being trained by the internet and by their friends, and you know, and because of the travel, they can go anywhere. It's very difficult to have a successful family today. Anyway, so there's that. And then the next verse talks about, and even in heaven, the same thing is there. There's all these rivals. You may have so many years to live, and you're living in Nandanan in the garden. But just look at Indra. I mean, he's not peaceful, you know. Even he went through the whole Govardhan Leela, right? And offered these wonderful prayers, and Krishna forgave him, you know. And he went back to heaven, you know. Surabhi there was bathing, and Okay, happy ending. But it's not ended. He's still Indra. And so when Krishna comes to return Aditi's earrings, and he wanted to get a Parijata tree, and he brought such a Brahman with him, to remind him, that Indra wouldn't let him have it. What is that? He forgot. Because he's Indra, and he's in charge of the mode of passion, and he does so many things, or he's in the mode of passion to a large degree, he wanted to enforce this rule that no, it can't be any Parijata, even for Krishna. So the demigods are themselves compromised. They're Sakama devotees. They have a very important role to play. They control everything, including, as Prabhupada would say, the twinkling of our eyelids, the blinking of our eyelids. And they're certainly devotees. But this is what happens to Indra with the Chitraketu and the Vritrasura pastime. He eventually loses. He kills Vritrasura, but Vritrasura is a Brahmin and a devotee, and then he has personified sinful reaction running after him, and he has to hide in a lake for 1,000 years, breathing through a straw. That's not the Vaikuntha. So the demigods are also coming down, and they dissipated his intelligence. He's saying here, but in any case, he's regretting his former material desires, but he accepts, the assignment. He has to be the emperor now for 36,000 years. But you'll notice that when Uttama gets killed by the yakshas, he loses it again. He starts annihilating all the yakshas, and Yamaraj Kubera has to come down to pacify him. So he's got the Kshatriya spirit. But in the end, Vaikuntha Dutas come down again with the airplane, and he puts his foot on death personified and enters into that plane. So it's successful. So this pastime is very important and instructive for us. Don't have any material desires. You may get what you pray for, and we're not going to be so strict and perfect that we're going to get the darshan of Vishnu. We may get some material thing, but we won't get Krishna. We won't get love for Krishna. It's mentioned in the third canto. What is it? Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Mishra means mixed up. And but we want the Shuddha Bhakti, with absolutely no material. Anyabhilasha Dashrami. Okay, any questions on these points? I'll read a little bit about Srila Madhvacharya. Okay. So let's see, I made a bookmark. There he is. So this is just a few of the wonderful aspects of his life. Go ahead. Mike.
Because this is the first time we heard about this, about Dhruva Maharaj, at least as far as I remember, Dhruva Maharaj saying that, I was influenced by the demigods.
Well, that's right there in the verse.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying in the past, like in the past chapters, I don't remember hearing about that.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, is it that the demigods actually influenced him, or is he just
still because he's still only now he's 6 years old, or 5.5.
Yeah.
So he still has a little.
Is he still is he in the mood that, oh hey, it wasn't my fault, it was their fault or something? Yeah, I mean, I know that sounds.
I was abused as a child. It's not my fault. I thought about that when I was reading that. Is this still a remnant of his childish mentality?
Yeah, because over time, like you said, Uttama gets killed, and then he
overreacts.
Yeah, he overreacts.
Yeah.
So this is also, is he just blaming the demigods?
I couldn't understand. I thought of that. I didn't have time to research it. Really, we have this Bhagavatam with the commentators, and Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find some confirmation.
Because what is he claiming the demigods did to him?
They bewildered his intelligence.
To do what?
To be envious.
Oh, envious of his brother.
Yeah.
And his mother.
And his mother. And
so this was at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, what would be the point of the demigods doing that at that time? I don't know, maybe the demigods could see the future, that he's going to be so powerful and disrupt the universal.
That's what he's claiming here.
Oh, okay.
It may be very well a remnant of his kind of a childish mentality. But I want to say that because he's now on this pure platform. But we'll figure that one out. Srila Madhvacharya appeared in 1238 A.D. This was after Ramanuja, right? Yeah, this is, I think, subsequent. Near Udupi, Karnataka in South India. He was considered an incarnation of Vayu, the wind god, and also Hanuman. Right? Hanuman is also an incarnation of Vayu. He had an unusually strong physique and an extraordinary intellectual power. Once, a fierce Bengali tiger attacked Madhvacharya's sannyas disciple Satyatirtha. Madhvacharya wrestled the tiger and sent him away with his tail between his legs. Madhvacharya took Diksha at age 5, sannyas at age 12, and left home. That's more or less what Shankaracharya did, isn't it? He appeared with a mission to fight and defeat Shankara's Mayavad philosophy. By giving a pure interpretation of Vedanta Sutra, he promoted pure theism. He named his innovative Shastric explanation Dvaita Dvaitavad, pure dualism. That's why he's famous. After Shankaracharya, who had previously toured India spreading impersonalism, Madhvacharya also traveled the length and breadth of India, preaching personal theism and devotion to Lord Vishnu. He defeated innumerable Jains, Buddhists, Mayavadis, atheists, logicians, and agnostics. With the hope of meeting Srila Vyasadeva himself, Madhvacharya trekked up into the Himalayas. Vyasadeva gave him a Shalagram Shila called Ashtamurti, approved of his Bhagavad Gita commentary, and blessed Madhvacharya with deeper realizations of the Shastras. In Udupi, Madhvacharya installed a beautiful deity of Gopal standing alone holding a cow-herding stick. This deity manifested from within a chunk of Gopi Chandran, sacred clay. We heard a little bit about that this morning. He established 8 mutts, or temples. So mutts is like a temple with an attached ashram, right? Basically, this is a mutt. He established 8 mutts to lovingly serve Udupi Krishna. The sannyasi leaders of each mutt worship the Krishna deity with a rigorous regimen of ceremonial ritual, punctuality, and impeccable personal conduct. Every Ekadashi, they observe nirjal, total fast from food and water. The Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya originates with the Madhvas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers thoroughly studied Madhva's works before compiling their philosophy. Of course, famously, Madhavendra Puri appeared in this Sampradaya, and his disciples, Ishwar Puri, who acted as Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. So that's why we're known as the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Okay. So it originates with the Madhvas. Lord Chaitanya's followers thoroughly studied Madhva's works before compiling their philosophy. For the Shat Sandarbhas, 6 philosophical treatises, Sri Jiva Goswami drew heavily from Madhva's writings. Jiva Goswami founded the Gaudiya philosophy Jiva Goswami found the Gaudiya philosophy of Achintya Beda Beda Tattva in Madhva's Bhagavat Parya. Sri Chaitanya himself visited Udupi, the seat of Madhva's sect. The Lord introduced Harinam Sankirtan into their sect. The Madhvas and the Gaudiyas share many of the same philosophical points. Both consider it necessary to surrender to the lotus feet of the Guru Padashraya. In the Sutra Bhashya, Madhvacharya cites the Brihat Tantra and the Mahasamhita to show that a disciple may reject a bogus guru who proves to be useless. He may then accept another qualified, self-realized person as his guru. In the Prameya Ratnavali, Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan summarized the 9 principles common to both Sri Chaitanya's and Madhva's teachings. In the Vaishnav Siddhantamala, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered all Gaudiya Vaishnavas to carefully observe the 9 instructions of truth given by Sri Madhvacharya through our Guru Parampara. And very conveniently, he lists these 9. 1. Bhagavan Sri Krishna alone is the supreme absolute truth, one without a second. 2. Krishna is the object of knowledge in all the Vedas. 3. The universe is real, not false. Satyam. 4. The differences between Ishvara, God, and the Jiva soul and matter are real. 5. Jiva souls are by nature the servants of the Supreme Lord Hari. 6. There are two categories of jivas, the liberated and the bound or illusioned. 7. Liberation or moksha means attaining the lotus feet of Bhagavan Krishna, in other words, entering an eternal relationship of service to the Supreme Lord. That's right out of the Bhagavatam. We should know this one. There's this table of contents in the Bhagavatam, chapter 10 of the second chapter, second canto. And in there, there's actually 10 subject matters, one of which is mukti, and they're defined. We should know this phrase. It's not even a whole verse. Muktir hitbanyata rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. You know that? You knew that one. We can learn it now. Just pretend that you're in Naimisharanya, that every word just enters and you can remember. Okay, muktir. I'll say muktir hitbanyata. Okay, let's unpack the hitbanyata. Hitva anyata means giving up all other, and then the next word is rupam, of forms. So we have all these forms. We're in one of them now. It's constantly changing. So muktir hitva anyata rupam, which comes out as muktir hitva anyata rupam. Once again, twice again. So we make a line in the brain. Muktir hitva anyata rupam. Muktir hitbanyata rupam. Say it, Jack. Damada. You need to sit? Okay. How about you? You again, you know it. Okay. So Damada, you'll learn it today. I'll find it for you in the books you can study. So that's not the end of it. So giving up all the other forms and swarupena vyavastiti. So swarup, we know the word swarup means your actual form, as coward boys say. Swarupena vyavastiti, to be situated or re-established in your original eternal swarup, in specific relation with Krishna. That's part of mukti. This is all part of the definition of mukti. To give up all these other forms that we've occupied for millions of births, and to be established in your actual swarup. So that's the second part. Swarupena vyavastitihi. Swarupena vyavastitihi. Mukti hitmanyata rupam. Swarupena vyavastitihi. Okay, now the ultimate. 2 lines. Mukti hitmanyata rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. Okay, now you have it. Damara, you'll learn it today. Okay, that's defining liberation means attaining the lotus feet of Bhagavan Krishna. In other words, entering an eternal relationship of service to the Lord, reviving our eternal relationship. That's the idea. 8. Pure devotional service to Krishna is the only way to attain this liberation. 9. The truth may be known by pratyaksha, direct perception, anuman, inference or logic, and shabda, spiritual sound or Vedic authority. And of course, the most reliable is the last one, shabda. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.